some Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you'll be seeing what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, as we're relaxing as per usual. I just saw a message from my friend. I had OBS open this entire time and I didn't actually see a notification or respond to it. You'll be glad to know, everyone, but I finally got around to actually opening all those parcels of those Digital Circus plushies. Very cute. I think almost all of them have arrived. I think there's only a couple which are missing. One being Ribbit. I don't know why I said that. I said Ribbit. One being Ribbit, and that might be the only plushie not arrived. But good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:36 PM on Monday, July 13th, 2026. There's also the limited edition cinema stuff which I bought. And you know, initially I wasn't going to buy because I was like, I don't really like. What am I going to do with a poster? But I did realise I do have posters actually on my wardrobe. Posters which have been here, I think, since I've been 14 or something years old. So about half my life. One being the flags of all the Commonwealth countries. So there's, because of this poster alone, I know a lot of very random countries' flags which I wouldn't usually know. Not all of them on there, mind you. Sometimes it's just sometimes when I'm thinking, I'll turn to look at it and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a flag of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And then it would just sort of be committed to memory, and it has helped me about 0 times, I think, in my life so far. It is Hazel? Question mark? Yeah. It's a very confusing thing because, like, you're called Hazel, but then there's also a different character who was called Hazel, but is called Callie or something in the UK version. I can't remember. I need to look it up now. Nookopedia Hazel. There's like 2 Hazels, or like there's like a Hazel, Callie, and Sally or something. Her name was originally okay, no, that's it. It was Sally, who used to be called Hazel. Wait, okay, so, no, Callie used to be called Sally in the original Animal Crossing, or Sally used to be called Hazel, but then in New Leaf, names got changed. Sally became Callie, Sally became Callie, Hazel became Sally, Sally became Callie, and Hazel became a new character. Why are they called like that? I don't really know why they did the name switch, to be honest. Callie's not really much of not a very common name, I'd say. I guess like Calliope or something, but why is Callie named Callie? I don't know, does it say? And like an etymology or something. We got little things of like why other languages are called this, but I don't know. Anyway, not the point. What was I going to say? I actually can't remember anymore. I actually genuinely lost my train of thought entirely. Oh yeah, I opened up the Digital Circus plushies. I should actually see what is left. I'm pretty sure it's the cinema exclusive merch, which is a popcorn bucket and 2 posters and a pin. There's also, I bought some of a limited edition one because it just made me so sad looking at it when I was like, I have to buy something. I love things which make me sad. Media which make me sad, I suppose I should say. But it's the poster, the finale poster, with them all happy in the afterworld. I mean, I bought the finale hoodie as well because why not? I don't think any of that's gone. Let's see, track your order. So this one's actually been shipped, so I think I don't know if Ribbit's been shipped yet, let's see. No, Ribbit hasn't been shipped. I think my friend said about Ribbit had been shipped for them. Well, they're being prepared. To be fair, they probably caused it on the first wave by being one of the first ones. So I still got my stuff in my... It kind of, like, didn't really dawn on me on how much Digital Circus stuff I bought, but the thing that is most amusing about them is the sizes differentials of the plushies are, like, kind of crazy, is probably what I'd say. Like, Bubble is ginormous. Bubble is kind of, like, by far and away the largest plushie. But they're like larger than a bowling ball, is probably how I describe it. But then Kaufmo is like really tiny for some reason. I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Like we have a lot of really like creative designs. Like Raghava's actually got like frayed ends for her hair, which is fun. Zubor and their detachable limbs, despite the fact that there aren't actually other limbs which you can swap in and out. But that would be cool if you ordered Zubor and you get like a random assortment of her limbs throughout their show. But maybe that's a bit much. Bubble's got a swear sensor, which is quite fun. I didn't notice any other like small things like that, but I do know Ribbit's got a detachable bow tie. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. What else has been happening? You know what? I played Mecha Chameleon for the first time. And I actually remember now because I saw... Okay, so I played it with a friend because a friend has wanted like our friend group to play it for a while, but our friend group it's quite difficult to get everyone together nowadays. Like, I mean, everyone's very busy with their lives. Unsurprisingly, it's hard to get everyone together at once. It's not too difficult to get like a group of 4 or something, but they were just like, we're playing Mecha Chameleon 8 PM this day. I can't remember what day it was on. I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm not busy that day, so I will join. So I bought it. And even in the case if I was busy that day or something, you know, still good to have. So I played it. So like I knew what Mecha Chameleon was, and if you're wondering why I'm calling it Mecha Chameleon instead of Mecha Chameleon, Mecha is because it's a Japanese game, and Mecha is just like it's a word which I believe it's from a Kansai dialect, which just means like very. But I think the insinuation is it's quite casual because, at least in my mind, I associate it with like Yarus who speak it. It's like a slang way of saying like very. So I would translate it as like totally or something, or totes or something. But I don't know if that's quite true. Let me see actually. Gyaru speak mecha, because Gyaru's always got like mecha in it. That's what I think, but. Yeah, it's like hella, totes, or super. So it'd be, so I would translate Mecha Chameleon as like totes chameleon or something, or totally chameleon, hella chameleon, something like that. But yeah, I fully understand if you call it Mecha Chameleon, because Mecha Chameleon almost sounds like it makes more sense in English. I would say. Like you're, I don't know, a mechanical chameleon, basically. Like you're trying to be a chameleon, but you're like not an actual real one. But it's pretty fun. It's basically, if you don't know what it is, I'm not going to title this episode Mecha Chameleon. I've only played it once, so I don't think it's enough for me to really comment on it. But it's basically a variant. I would say the closest thing is basically Prop Hunt from back in the day in Gmod days, which I never really played. I played Prop Hunt on tier 2, which is very amusing because I didn't own Gmod back in the day. But the general idea is that you are playing as a character, and then you are in this like 3D like set world or whatever, and you basically have a colour palette at your disposal, like some basic painting tools which you use to paint in 3D model of your character to hide in the environment. And that's literally it. Like, that's the entire premise of the game. You've probably seen it like everywhere by this point, because I know it's very viral nowadays. I had seen, I think, one clip from Northern Lion playing it, where he hid as like a piece of meat on a restaurant like table or something. I don't know. I haven't actually played a map, but he was doing. I think. I might have seen more. I'm not sure, but that's the only one I can remember. If I have seen more. And I was like, this is a cool concept for a game. Like, it's a very sort of streamer friendly sort of game, I think, as well. Because it's sort of like fun vibes, ain't it? But what was I going to say about it? I think it's just like a very simple concept of a game, and it's a good concept which can be expanded on very easily. Like the core conceit of a game, very simple. Just hide in plain sight by painting yourself. And you don't need much artistic ability to play, because you don't have to paint like something extravagant to really hide. You know, if you are very artsy, of course you can. You can paint something very, like, one of my friends who's played it a lot has done some incredible things which we shared pictures of. And, you know, some of my other friends did some really crazy stuff. I will be honest, I didn't do anything like crazy. I could very much not get used to the colouring system on it. It feels so weird to me. So I didn't do anything particularly creative, is what I say. I think, because to me, I'm like, shape matters quite a lot. So I think a lot of the times I would just sort of plaster myself against the wall and just paint what's on the wall. I also feel like part of it is also, it's really hard to think of something of like, it's interesting because I do think I'm very good at Gartic Phone. Because I'm very good at being like, seeing a prompt immediately, I visualize something, I immediately start drawing it. Like, as much as you can be good, quote, quote, at Gartic Phone, I mean, it's all in good fun, as is Mecha Chameleon. I guess Mecha Chameleon does have, to be fair, a scoreboard system, what Gartic Phone doesn't. But Gartic Phone I find very easy. It's very easy for me to see something, immediately picture it, like, full perspective colour thing in my head, boom. And for me to translate it onto the page. Mecha Chameleon is like, I can see the vision sometimes, but I can't, like, finesse it. Mainly because I'm just not used, I think, to a colouring system. That's on Mecha Chameleon. Something that gets used to, and I think some of it as well is also I feel quite disoriented in the maps every time I load in. I feel like it takes me like 1 minute to even find a place which I want to paint myself on. So I will fully admit I didn't do anything that creative. I think the main thing as well is I really struggled to get like much of a texture across TBH. I kept saying when I was doing it, being like, I wish I had like a textured brush or something to do something, because there's so many things in the game which have like a rough texture or something, which is really hard to recreate when you just have a pixel brush. But maybe there was something which I missed, because you can change like the metallicness and you can change like the finish of a paint, which was interesting. But it's got some very nice things, which is well designed, because what differentiates it from Prop Hunt, because a big problem with Prop Hunt is the fact that a lot of people just hide in like a really tiny corner, like a really difficult thing to play, place to find. But Mecha Chameleon, it wants you to hide literally in plain sight like a chameleon to blend into the background. And you know, to do that, it means that you get points only when whoever's hunting is looking at you directly. Or like in, I guess, in their screen maybe, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but something along those lines, which means that if you basically hide in like some faraway corner really far high away from anyone, you're not going to get any points because the hunter's never going to see you. Does it really matter? No, but it's fun. So it does that very nice thing. And I also think it does something really nice to help sort of encourage a very sort of casual nature of it, is something which it takes some well, maybe not literally takes some Jackbox, but Jackbox does quite often as well, is that basically after the process, you know, you get the points for how well you manage to sustain someone's vision, and then you can give a EN, which I spelled it a bit weirdly, to be honest, for some reason. We did it with a double E instead of double I in the English version, but EN just means like great, in a very casual way in Japanese. But you can give basically likes afterwards to people, and it tracks for likes as well. Like it tracks, I think, how many times you've been found and how many times you've been liked. So if you're someone who cares about score in that sense, it's sort of like oh, you can have different metrics what you should judge on. You know, you can try and find a spot which is like really difficult to find. One which is just impossible. I had one on like a map, I think it was like in a museum or something, which I didn't expect it to be that difficult. It wasn't even my initial plan. My initial plan is I wanted to hide on the crab and try and paint as a crab, but I couldn't figure out how to stay on the crab. I kept falling off. So it was like a last minute ditch. I just put myself next to a crab, painted myself like the same colour as a wall, and I was very difficult to find. So if that's what you want to do, if you want to be difficult to find, you can do that in a way which hides in plain sight, because I got a lot of points of doing that, because I was basically on the wall and there were so many things there, it felt like I was disguised as something else. Or if your metric is that you want to paint yourself as something really cool, fun, creative, which may not necessarily be, may get you some points, but not a lot of points, you have the EA system, which is much more sort of like a community, like, not community vote, but collaborative vote, of like, whichever was the most creative, which one you liked, you give them a like. So I think it's very cool. Would I play more? Yeah, I played more. Like, I think it's at a level. Like, I can see it basically going the exact same way as Lethal Company to me. Which I said before, is like Lethal Company I enjoyed up until the point where there were no more surprises, I think. It's fun to discover things, but once I understand, I suppose, like, how the monsters move, or like some of the mechanics behind the game, it becomes an efficiency-based game in my head. You know, I switch over from Alien Daredevil, which enjoys a social aspect, to Robot Daredevil, which wants an optimization aspect. And it's not a great optimization game, I would say. You know, there are better. It's not like good as bad. Like, it's a very fun, silly, chaotic game with elements of optimization in it, but it doesn't really scratch my itch from an optimization standpoint. I can see Magic Communion going down a sort of similar path, but maybe not. Mainly because there's community maps. But the path I see it definitely going down is if I no longer... Because I think a fun part of this game is trying to come up with creative ways to hide. At the moment, I don't think I'm good enough with a system to hide in the time slot that we have, essentially. So I'm doing very basic things. But I think once you get better, it's very easy to sort of find somewhere and be like, okay, now I can like really commit to a good bit, essentially. Because an interesting thing, because I haven't got bored of Gartic Phone. Because I think it's also easy for me to say Gartic Phone and be like, oh, there'll be eventually you'll run out of like interesting prompts, or like all prompts will have like a certain vibe. But I think the creative nature of coming up with a prompt and the fact that you play with different people who have different ideas of what prompts to give gives you like a real nice variety. And plus, I really like a lot of the modes in Gartic Phone. Like, I talk about it all the time. I adore the mode Knockoff. It's such a good party mode. Game mode. If you don't know what it is, it's basically you spend like a decently long time, like up to like a couple minutes, I think by default, drawing anything you want, no prompt whatsoever. And then what happens is you get that drawing, that really good drawing gets given to someone else, and they have like half the time to draw it, and then that drawing gets given to, it's basically a game of telephone, I suppose. So basically the drawing devolves over and over and over again. And it's so good because, for one, it's the best of all worlds to me, in my mind. I get to like kind of cook on a drawing, so I'm like, yeah, I get that sort of like creative outlet where I get to do like something really nice. And then the first time you do a copy, it's sort of like you also kind of get to cook, but you get to do like a prompt-based thing. It's actually feasible to finish a drawing in time, and then the rest of it just becomes absolute chaos, like very, very snappy. Like the next three become like, how quickly can you recreate something and memorize it, and then the last two are just absolute chaos, where you're just like, what happened to this thing? Why have I just got a picture of like a red square with a blue squiggle on it? What happened? And then you get the great payoff at the end to be like, oh, everything comes together. So yeah, I find it a lot of fun. So in the same way that I'm like, I can definitely see maybe Magic Communion is something which has just infinite replay value in that sense. I think it will probably live or die by how much I like the drawing system in it, for me personally. Your mileage may vary. Because apparently you can use a tablet on it. I didn't try it, obviously, because it was like literally my first time playing, but like maybe that would like really increase my enjoyment of it, because that increasing my enjoyment of Gartic Phone quite a lot. Yeah. So I'm excited to play again. I think it does work really well with a large group. I will actually say I genuinely enjoy hunting way more. Not way more, but a lot compared to hiding. Because I think hiding's nice, but I think hunting is really fun. Like, you might think, oh, it's really embarrassing when people are sort of laughing, be like, oh my gosh, how don't you see them? But that's like part of a joke, isn't it? Because sometimes you basically, in my opinion, is you get the slow reveal of everyone's jokes, essentially, if you're a hunter. Because you'll walk up and you might see someone who basically just didn't hide whatsoever, and you get haha that funny joke, while everyone else who's hiding already has known that joke, like through various times. You get like a slow drip feed of like, haha, that's so funny, whoa, that was such a good hiding spot. And to the thing of like, when you become like part of a joke, you can play the jester as well, and then continues. Like, I don't know, I think being a hunter is just really fun, to be honest. But yeah, your mileage may vary. Would I play more Magic Communion? Yeah. Would I get bored of it eventually? Maybe. I don't know. Yet to be decided. But for now, I just need to know how to draw quicker, I think, in it. Anyway, I'm going to have this episode off here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Adam Across New Horizons. I've been there, darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Social Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.